Hey everyone, today, hopefully we're going to see a new set of cards in Cross Duel. Today is the day the gachas run out, or rather, it should have happened 10 minutes ago. So, let's head over to Cross Duel and see what's new. Oh yeah, my final, I must have missed a day because this doesn't happen on a Sunday for me anymore. Right, okay, what am I going to get? 5! So that's I literally this month got the 2 worst rolls. Wow. Oh, here we go. New Archetype Gacha Volume 2. Oh, nice. We're definitely going to do an initial... Oh, Jump Destroyer. We're definitely going to do like an initial review of some of these cards. So, okay, first of all, yeah, Legendary Gacha. Let's see what is in here. This is just what we had before. This is literally just what we had before. And it doesn't even include, the machine, the Machine King card. Or Red Eyes. This is just the original set. Does it? What are like the drop rates like for it? They're still exactly the same. Yeah, this is just the original set, but just with exactly the same drop rates. Okay. Alright, let's see this new pack. So we have basically all of these new cards, which we'll take a look at in a minute. And then this also has all of the old cards, including XYZ and Super Magnum. Yeah, literally all of the old cards as well. I'm assuming there is a higher drop rate for these cards. So yeah, 0.75 rather than 0.11. And same thing for the couple new super rares that we got as well. Right, I wonder if we can... Okay, let's take a quick look at these cards and see if any of them are any good. Double Sacrifice 2100 is a fusion. It looks like you need 2 warriors. When summoned, select one monster you control and switch its location with this monster. When activation condition, when this monster would be teleported by an effect, it gains the following effects depending on how many opponent's monsters are in the lane it moves to. Attack supplement ×2, attack buff ×2. So supplement is gain 400, so it will gain 800 at the end of the battle, and attack buff is it will gain 400. It's very unlikely that the opponent is going to have 3 monsters, so it's very unlikely that it's going to get detonated. But it should very much get 2 attack supplements and 2 attack buffs. Is that good enough? I am not sure. It'll mean it goes up to 2500 per battle. If there are 2 monsters in this lane, it is probably going to battle twice, unless one of them is in defense mode. Which means it could go up to 2900, but taking out 2 monsters like that, it's probably not even going to be able to. What's its special? Let's have a look. Special is exactly the same. Wait, teleport. Activate when this monster will be teleported. Okay, so basically it gets exactly the same buffs. But it doesn't teleport itself from special, it only teleports itself from master. So I guess, I know there is emergency teleport, which goes with this card. I guess we'll have to have a look and see what other cards maybe go with it. And if you do have master skill, let's have a look at what else there is. So there's another attack buff, which means if you put that on it, it will go up by 600. per turn. And there's Energize. Gains 500 attack and defense when this monster is teleported by an effect. Okay, so you put that on. It goes up to 26. So what I would guess you would do is you would put on but 2 of these, right? It will then go up to 3,100. And then when it battles a monster, it will go up to 3,500. When it battles a second monster, it will go up to 3,900. And then it will get 800 back a turn. So yeah, I can kind of see that being okay. If you have 3 copies of this card. If you only have 1 copy of this card, I don't think it's very good. I think this card is very, very dependent on this Energize effect. Not to mention that if you do have this on, I'm sure there are going to be other cards in this set that require it to bounce. So yeah, maybe not as bad as I initially thought, but definitely one where you're going to need like 3 copies for this to be good. Right, Junk Destroyer. Let's have a look at it from here first. So this is a synchro that you need monsters got to level 8 for. Let's have a look at its special first. When summoned, select and destroy trap cards up to the number of monsters used as summon material. Master skill is select and destroy trap cards up to the number of monsters used as material after destroying an opponent's monster by battle. Select 1 monster in your graveyard with cohesion and return it to your hand. Okay. The trap card stuff is not fantastic. Like trap cards, unless the opponent gets the middle card and they get like a Mirror Force or Ring of Destruction or something, trap cards are usually like less value than monsters. However, the ability that lets you get a monster with cohesion back to your hand from your graveyard, seems pretty good. Because if you can keep this alive, it will then hopefully get you back all the monsters used to get it out. Not to mention it has double cohesion on itself, so I think you would probably just use this with double cohesion. So 2600, you summon anything else with it, it's going to go up more. You should at least be able to kill 1 monster with this. You might be able to get it up enough to kill 2. But yeah, if you kill 1 monster with its master skill, I think it's probably worth it. But at the same time, I don't know if it's worth it over having like other ace monsters with good master skills. This is like a value card, but not necessarily a card that helps you win the duel. So yeah, a little underwhelmed. We'll have to see how they pan out, but yeah, a little underwhelmed by the monsters that have just come out. At least these 2. But let's see what cards go with it, because maybe we'll maybe there'll be some good stuff that goes with it. Here we go. Okay, set 1 monster you control and switch its location with this monster. So again, a good card that goes with the ultra rare that we just saw. And if you have Energize on, it gets on that card, it's going to get 1000 attack. Now, unfortunately, even though this has 2 Energize, you're not going to be able to give this one 1000 attack because it can only have 1 skill. Though I wonder if people might use like something like this as an ace. You know, it's just a normal summon 2000 and then use other cards, you can get it up higher. It's possible, but I don't see it happening over the ace that we've seen. But yeah, works well with the ace. What we got here? Okay, so this is a 1 sacrifice 2300. It has speedy summon, but that would only make it a 1300 or 1600 defense. Or 600 defense, I mean. When summoned, set 1 monster and switch its location with this monster, then restore the original attack of the selected monster. Wow, okay. So I think we can definitely see how that Cyber Angel Ultra Rare is like actually going to be alright. If you keep using cards like this to kind of switch its location, get its attack up, it could actually be like, you know, very survivable and very strong. The one downside being that whenever you switch its location, it's going to go back and it's not going to be at an opponent's, like, you know, front doors trying to just take out their life points. But it does mean it's going to be a very survivable monster that's going to buff itself up quite a bit and hopefully, you know, just, you know, get a lot of value out of. I forgot to rate these if you don't use their special skills, right? If you don't use their special skill, this one is pretty terrible. I guess it does have Ignite, but yeah, I can't really see you using this other than using it special. This one does have cohesion, or speedy summon. You know, this one's basically what was it, a junk synchro, whatever it was called. Because that has 2300 with cohesion as well. So this isn't like too bad, just as like a normal one sacrifice. Gagaga Clerk. Right? Pretty low, 400, 800, but what is its ability? When summoned, special summon either one Gagaga Magician or one Gagaga Girl to one of your monster card zones. Oh, okay. Now I'm assuming that when you get back a Gagaga Magician, it's gonna have its reincarnation effect back, because it doesn't say special summon it without its reincarnation. And I'm assuming it means from the graveyard as well. Okay, this is going to require some clarification, because it doesn't mention from the graveyard or anything, which makes me think it is just going to special summon a vanilla Gagaga Magician or Gagaga Girl, is what this makes me think this card is going to do. So it's not going to have reincarnation or anything on it. In which case, you know what, that's still pretty alright. You can kind of think of this like a Stray Lambs, where you're basically just going to summon stuff for material. I mean, Gagaga Magician has enough attack that it's good enough anyway, but you get this kind of extra monster for it, which you can on the next turn then use as material as a sacrifice. So yeah, not bad. You're probably not going to use this reincarnation, it's just got too low stats. It does have cohesion, but again, its stats are just like too low. But yeah, its special is pretty right. Just going to be good for a lot of decks that have any double or any sacrifice monsters in. Right, Performable Cheermole. This is a pendulum. At the end of the battle phase, if a monster you control has cohesion, return this to your hand. Trying to work out why this would be good. So the one way I can see this being good is you have this as your ace. This is your red pendulum mark, right? And then you build it, so then at this point you don't need any other monsters in your deck with the red pendulum scale, you just have blue pendulum scales in your deck. The other monsters you can have with cohesion, meaning that whenever you need that red pendulum scale, you just summon this, it comes back to your hand, you play a monster with, you play a monster with a blue scale, and then it makes getting both the scales easier, and then you have things like Odd Eyes and stuff not as your ace, and you just have it as like a normal monster in your deck, and this basically allows you to have more normal monsters in your deck. I mean, more double sacrifice normal monsters in your deck. So yeah, you know what, this is actually not bad. I might have to try this out. Not to mention that you can put attack support on it, which means every time you summon it, it's going to give everything 200. Yeah, might have to try this one out, like having this as like an ace. It seems like you can build a fairly interesting deck like this, where you're just basically getting out a lot of pendulum summons. Right, Assault Armor. When you control only one monster, it gains 800 attack and defense and extra attack. Wow, they're really pushing the extra attack deck, like with the balance changes we saw for today as well. Mystical Wind Typhoon. Choose one lane ahead that has 2 or more opponent's monsters and return the monster with the lowest attack in that lane to the opponent's hand. Okay. Trying to think if this would be good or not. Mainly because it is the lowest attack of the opponent's monster, right? I guess this does help for the typical Blue Eyes play, where your opponent summons Blue Eyes and destroys your defense monster. You play this, you hit the monster that was about to attack you, but your opponent still gets that monster back. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. We'll have to see. It might be good, it might not. It feels like it's not going to be that good. At the start of the battle phase, the monster you control with the highest attack loses 1,500 attack and gains stealth until the end of this turn. And stealth is it can pass by your opponent's monsters. The monster you control with the highest attack, okay, so it does lose 1,500 attack. But again, this does get that monster to your opponent's life points. I mean, you combine this with the teleport monster that we saw that puts your monster's attack back up to its original state. It could work with that, but yeah, have to see. This card could be a diamond in the rough, right? Like, you use this on Blue Eyes, it's still going to get past the monsters and do 1,500 damage. I think this card is actually better than it looks, but yeah, we'll have to see. Ooh. When set position is entered, special summon Ojama monster with Explosion. So this is just a level 2 with 1,000 defense. And Explosion is inflict 300 damage to the controller of this monster in defense position to all empty monster zones of the opponent who entered, and give them control of these monsters. Okay. You know what? That's actually not bad. Very thematic to the actual Yu-Gi-Oh card as well. But yeah, if your opponent is playing it really depends, right? If your opponent is playing a deck that has sacrifices and he has those in his hand, it's not great because you're just giving him stuff to sacrifice. But even if he does, it's going to be very unlikely that he's going to be able to clear all of the Ojama monsters that are like put down, which means he may end up having to send some of them in attack mode down his lanes, and that could delay him a turn. So yeah, pretty alright actually. You play this on your first turn and it fills up their lane to stop them from doing more attacks at you, but still you're having to guess. I don't think this is an amazing card. I think this is going to be hard to see play. I think this will probably actually see play in maybe like an Ignite deck, or you know, or a Snipe deck, for example, because it can do up to 900 damage to whatever opponent you're going to send. You know, you're going to put it on and delay their attacks. So yeah, all right, we're on to the rares now. Blade Stalker, all right, got 1500 defense, 1400 attack. It does have cohesion, which is nice, which I think is probably what you would use in this. It's 1400, 1500 with cohesion, which is not bad, honestly. It does also have Energize, but I think you're going to be saving all of your Energize effects for your Ace. But yeah, not bad. This one, 1600, has cohesion, has Snipe. But yeah, 1600 with cohesion, again, not too bad. It is more warriors as well to help you get out that card. Ooh, Firewall Guardian. Oh, that might be a Link monster for a sec. I mean, it does have Link arrows. 2000 defense, which is pretty good, with cohesion, which is also pretty good. Wow, so this is just going to be a really good addition to either a Link deck or really just any deck. I think if you get this card, it just 2000 defense with cohesion just fits really well into like any deck. Cyverse, it's also got a low attack, so you can get it back with Debris Dragon as well. Yeah, just pretty solid card there. Gen X Controller. Again, it has cohesion. Ooh, it has Inventor, and this is actually probably a better Inventor monster than, like, you know, if you're playing a pure Inventor deck, this might actually fit in over some of the other monsters that we've had to bear with in an Inventor deck. Maybe. But yeah, another cohesion card, so another decent, you know, kind of decently standard monster with cohesion. Creature swap. Set one monster you control with Energize and one other monster you control, then switch their locations. So I feel like what you might want to do is you might actually want to have at least 2 monsters in your deck with Energize, your Ace, and maybe one other one, just because when you draw all of these extra cards, you might have already used their Ace and they might just become dead draws at that point. But ooh, yeah, I don't know. Well, have to try out the deck and see. Or randomly return up to 2 warrior monsters from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, okay. That seems pretty good, right? Because, let me just go back for a sec, right? Cyberblader itself is a warrior. You can get it back, you know? The cards that go with it is a warrior, and it is a warrior. Like, the 2 best cards that go with it. Even Gagaga Clerk is a warrior. So, yeah, so this deck seems like it's going to be a lot of value. I'm actually honestly pretty interested in trying out the Cyberblader deck. Although, unfortunately, it does require a lot of cards. Like, you need 3 copies, 2 super rares, so I'm not sure I'm going to be trying it out anytime soon. Senet Switch. Set 2 monsters in your monster zone and swap their positions. So again, another card that goes with your Energize stuff. Now, I don't think, like, if you just have one Energize on a monster, I do not think this is good enough, right? One Energize on a monster means that it's going to gain 500 attack and defense. Now, if you have them on both of your monsters, it's going to be a lot more. Both are going to gain 500, but that still reads, hey, for this card, that still reads, hey, give 2 of your monsters 500, you know, give 1,000 points of power in total, which is just not good enough. I think, though, if one of those monsters is your ace, however, then it might actually be worth including, you know, having your other monsters have the Energize thing rather than Cohesion on them. So, yeah, because at that point it would be 1,000 to your ace, 500 to the other monster, and it's not bad. At the start of your battle phase, all of your monsters in the lanes ahead of your empty monster zone are teleported there, and then going to gain 500. So I need to read that again, because that just went completely over my head. All of your monsters in the lanes ahead of your empty monster zones, are teleported there. So they are basically teleported back. If you haven't played any monsters behind them, they're teleported back, and they're given 500 attack and defense. And I guess if they have Energize, they're given another 500 attack and defense. Yeah, again, a lot of cards that are going very, very well with the ace monster of this deck. I actually kind of really want to try it out now because of all of this. If you control a monster with Cohesion in your monster zone, randomly special summon level 4 or lower monsters from your graveyard to each of your empty monster zones in attack position, and then apply negation to all their skills. Wow. This seems pretty good, right? If you control a monster with Cohesion in your monster, so this is going to special summon 2 level 4 or lower monsters from your graveyard to each of your empty positions in attack position with negation. Seems pretty alright, right? Like, the monster with Cohesion is going to get a 400 attack and defense buff from this. Like, I mean, if you're playing a lot of cards with just good, with Cohesion, or just with, like, good stats, seems pretty right, to be honest. Seems like a pretty, fairly powerful card. Rebound, activate condition. If a monster would be returned to your hand from the field or teleported by an effect, it gains immunity to bounce teleport. Of course, we get another one of these. Giant Trunade. If there are 3 or more opponent's monsters in attack position in the lanes ahead of you, return all level 4 or lower monsters in those lanes to their owner's hands. Ooh, okay. This card is not, I think, is going to be not bad. This is the card where it's like, hey, if everyone gangs up on you, this card is good. Now, more than likely what's going to happen is 2 people are going to gang up on you, and one is probably going to have a Blue Eyes or a high level monster, but you know, they're each probably going to have a level 4 or lower monster. This is actually going to help you get back into the game. I am definitely going to try this one out. It may not be as good as it seems, and you know, some of the other cards, some of the other super rares that we've seen previously might just be better than this, but this is a normal. I think this is very good for a normal. Like, especially new players coming in, I think it's just a really good card for them to, like, include in their deck. At the start of the battle phase, if 2 or more lanes ahead of you contain an opponent monster in attack position, the monster with the highest attack among them is returned to the owner's hand. Again, another good card for just, you know, throwing off people who are, like, trying to gang up on you. And this one is the highest attack position monster as well. So, could knock a Blue Eyes back, could knock a Double Sacrifice back. Again, another decent trap card, I think, to try out there. Okay, so one thing I also forgot to add for this, after playing a quick tag duel with Alexis, is this gets these buffs every time Cyberblader is teleported. So it isn't just like, oh, it just gets 2 attack supplement, potentially 2, you know, 2 attack buff. No. Every time it's teleported, it's going to get 2 more, 2 more, 2 more. Which means, you know, this already is going to restore 800 attack at the end of the turn. Very quickly, probably even on the first turn, it's going to restore, you're going to teleport it twice, it is going to get up to, you know, 1,600 attack restored every turn. So this is going to quickly snowball into a very, very unstoppable card that is going to restore basically all of its attack, or enough attack at least that you can't get over it per turn, right? So yeah, so I think this is actually, like, by itself, it's a terrible Ultra Rare, but combined with, okay, maybe not terrible, but like underwhelming. Combined with all of the new cards that we've seen in this set that teleport, this card is actually, I think, going to snowball very, very fast. And yeah, definitely want to try out one of these decks. Only problem is I need 3 copies of this card. How many booster packs am I going to need to open for that? And I guess final thoughts on Junk Destroyer. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. It gets its value back, right, if you're playing it with its master skill, but which in and of itself is a good thing if you're playing like the value game. If you know what, if a lot of good traps come out and they do become a big meta thing, then yeah, I think the value of this card is going to be a lot better. But until that, I think it's just okay. Cyberblader, though, I think is the main star of the set. Now that I've had a quick chance to see it in action, I'm definitely looking forward to making a deck from this. But I really, even though I'm looking forward to making a deck from this, I don't think I'm going to see this too often in the ladder, just because of the amount of super rares and ultra rare copies that you need to make this card good. I think it's definitely going to be worth trying out, even if you just have one Energize on this card, and seeing how it goes. But anyway, those have been my thoughts on the new set. We will see in the future how it goes. I'm going to try and get out a raid video for the current raid duel as quickly as I can. And hopefully, if I somehow miraculously open 3 of these, I will make a deck vid for it. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more cross-duel content, and I will see you on the ladder.